gorgeous. Great to see you inside out of the slightly damp day out there. And it's dark, right? I have to turn the light on just to go and see because it's really dark. There's nothing to see out there. It's just a really leaden grey sky because there's a lot of clouds blocking the sunlight. Which means we get sparkly things. And this is sparkly, right? Sparkly little piece of quartz. I just got to try and catch the light on it. Isn't it cute? It makes me think of a little hedgehog. There you go. You can really see the shapes and perfect little points. And the light is really sparkling off them, but I can't see that it's sparkling for you on camera. It's about where the light is. Good morning, Linda. But still, it's such a sweet little piece of quartz. There you go. Now I've got it right. You can see it sparkling. We like sparkly things. And let me not forget to show... Oh my God, I've never noticed this before. This is hilarious. I've never seen it before. Look, this is really sparkly because I think... Well, this is black and kind of micaceous. I don't know what it is, but isn't it gorgeous? Somebody will probably know. And look, there's actually a couple of little amethyst points here. I've never noticed those before. I never saw them. After all this time, I've had this little piece of quartz for a long time and I never noticed it has this piece of amethyst. Oh, so, wow, the things you see. And I feel like I should know what this black stuff is, but I don't. Some person who's into geology will know, because I think it's pretty recognisable. Might thunderstorm later. Well, thunderstorms are amazing, as long as you're inside out of them and can watch them and enjoy them. So there you go. That's rather special. Oh, this is pyrite. See the cube? So, you know, and maybe this is more this is probably more of something that's made with lots of iron in it. That's the thing. You see, it's quartz, the pyrite, and it's also got amethyst on the back. I seriously never noticed that until now. Amazing. Good morning, Sunshia. It's great to see you too. You're in Auckland. I wonder what it's like where you are. Here it's grey and damp, and I love it. If you saw the photograph I took at the top of the hill, the harbour is so dramatic. I love the light at this time of the year. I love what the weather does. Sunshine, from the point of view of a photographer, is generally boring and really harsh, and you don't get beautiful colours. You know, this kind of light is amazing. Anyway, enough. Julian, good morning. This is a little piece of sodalite. It's quite dark. You can see it's just the beautiful dark blue. Oh, okay, it's windy where you are. Sunshine's north of me, so the northerly will come down. It'll be windy here tomorrow, probably. Good morning, Kelly Bird. It's great to see you. Just enjoying this little piece of tumbled sodalite here. She's dropping it. I'm kind of pleased that we actually have the artificial light today, because I don't know if you could see the colour at all if it was in daylight. Anyway, there it is. Yes, I knew somebody was going to say that sodalite was their favourite. I think it's your favourite too, Linda, isn't it? I know you enjoy sodalite. Now this is amethyst, right? But it's apparently that aura amethyst, which is supposed to have gazillions of different minerals in it and have terribly amazing spiritual properties, which of course none of which I subscribe to any of that now. I just enjoy rocks because they're rocks. Look at how... You know, this beautiful shape. This was thrown in with something else that I was ordered. It was given to me by a friend, actually. She sent me something and put other bits in with it. And I love this. It's such a perfect thing. And you can see right through to that shape inside. And what puzzles me is that this is a naturally formed crystal. It wasn't carved like this. And I'm thinking, how did it grow in this shape? Because it's so not typical. It's not a shard. It's grown like this. At least I'm pretty sure it has, because there are actual... See that, you know, those lines? Catch the light there. See that? That is a naturally grown facet. And this doesn't look like it was shattered. So, you know, it really confuses me, and I just wonder. There's another natural face on it. So it's like, how did something like this grow? Because it's not at all a typical piece of amethyst. So there you are. And it's lovely to see you all on. I can see all kinds of faces up there, and Facebook hasn't told me who you are yet, but it's brilliant to see you. Amy! Facebook's catching up. I'm so grateful that I get to connect with you here every day. It's just a blessing. Now let me get on with the topic. Last night I was actually scratching my head. I thought, what are we going to talk about? And then I was responding to a message from a dear friend, and she was talking about, God, I can't remember the words, but, she's talking about learning to create new feelings in herself, and how strange it was, and how, I had no idea even how to do that once upon a time, and I'm sort of getting there, but, it's like I'm still looking, I'm trying to feel these feelings, and I'm looking for a reason, really, to feel the way I feel, and all I see is reasons not to feel the way I feel. This isn't quite what she was saying, but this is a common thing that I have felt myself. And it was like, I need to talk about that today. Because we look for something outside ourselves to give us a reason to feel the way we want to feel. Okay, Linda. Yeah, that could explain it. So it might have been split, who knows? Of course, that's how gemologists take something rough and make it sparkly, make it shaped. So, we are programmed to be really ordinary. Hi, Nora. Morning, gorgeous. We are programmed to say, if I wear that perfume, I'll feel sexy and people will like me. Morning, Jen. Or if I drive this car, I'm being really facile because none of you are like this. But if I drive this car, I'm going to feel really good. If I have a house over me, I'm going to feel safe, which actually can definitely not be the case. I mean, it helps, the rain's not falling on your head and the tigers aren't coming to get you, but you can still feel very afraid when you're inside the shelter that you thought was going to make you feel safe. So we have this idea that something outside us has to change for us to feel something inside. And when your circumstances are not conducive, Victor, it's been ages, g'day, gorgeous. It's like, well, how can I feel love when I'm alone? And how can I feel healthy when I'm so freaking sick? You're a good habit, Victor. It's lovely to see you. How can I feel happy when I'm in pain? You get the idea. And what I am absolutely doing right now, because I understand why I need to do this now, and I understand how it helps me change my life, is I am getting better at having feelings for no reason at all. So that the feeling becomes mine to have, and I don't need a reason to feel love. I don't need a reason to feel whole. I don't need a reason to feel safe. Because I have the ability to feel that feeling inside me independent of my circumstances. And I think I said it yesterday, I'm aware I live in a little paradise here, and there's so much that I don't have to deal with. But let me tell you, I still had to work really hard to create these feelings because I was so used to not feeling them. It was habitual and normal for me to not feel happy, and for me to not feel joy, and for me to feel afraid of my future and to be worried by all the things that had happened in the past that suggested to me how my future was going to be. Hi, Barbara! Based upon our past experience, we predict the worst. Because that's what the brain does, trying to keep us safe. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Eric. I know you're there. You can see little faces up the top. So, that's survival, but it doesn't make you thrival. It makes you dival. Okay, bad alliteration over. So, how do you learn to feel in love with life when you really feel like life is a stalker? Like, the universe is out to get you. And you intellectually, you listen to me say this and you think, but I know the universe isn't out to get me, but your body is saying, hell yeah, my life sucks, it's really hard, doesn't matter what I do, I'm pushing shit uphill. How do you go from that state of felt experience, right? Forget what your brain is saying, because your conscious mind is 5% of your entire mind. 95% of your mind is subconscious, and it's memorized and in your body. Morning, Melody! And if you have an idea, that's great, but if you can't get your body to agree with your mind, if you can't feel what you're thinking, you're just pissing into a very strong wind and you're getting wet and stinky. It doesn't work. Believe me, I've done it for many years, because I didn't know how to do anything else. Now I do. So if you want to learn how to be in love with life, or how to feel worthy of having what you desire, worthiness is and it's nothing to do with this silly idea that I get really about, which is self-worth. My self-worth is bad. We are fundamentally worthy of everything just by being here, and that's a whole long discussion. To feel worthy really means you feel whole, and you feel connected to who you are, and you feel connected to all that is, and then you feel worthy, and anything can come to you. But most of us, me included, have to move through a lot of programmed and, accepted and believed and surrendered to unworthiness to let good things into our lives. G'day, Roberta! So, how do you start to feel worthy when you're used to feeling like shit? How do you start to feel whole when you're used to feeling sick, when you've been sick for a long time? So, and I was thinking, well, how do I talk about this in a way that makes sense? So starting to practice a new feeling that you can't remember feeling before, or you can remember feeling it a long time ago, but it was so long ago, it's like, oh, I don't know how to do that anymore. Tracy, good morning. It's a distant memory, and all the shit's happened, and the shit's in my face and in my body, and I feel it, and it's all really, really real. And the memory of being happy is distant and impossible, and you can't see it in your future, right? I'm talking from that perspective, because I've been there. I know what that is like. And all you can see is brick walls in front of you, and there's a tiger behind you. So great, let the shit descend. From that space, how do you create a new feeling? It is literally like learning to play a musical instrument and writing a new tune at the same time. Not only do you not know what the tune is, you don't know what the happy song sounds like, you also don't know how to play it, right? So it's a big learning curve. When's the last time you learned a completely new skill? Just think back. It might be a while. Hint, it's a good idea to keep learning new things, because the brain makes new connections when you learn stuff. Neuroplasticity in itself is something the body has to remember how to do, That's what happens to people when they don't learn. The brain gets fixed and set, and you've got this really finite set of possibilities, and that's it. It's going to be something new, right? So when's the last time you learned something really new? Can you remember how strange it was? I mean, it's just like trying to, if you used a power drill with your right hand for your entire life, and you say, one day I'm going to use this with my left hand. It's awkward. It's difficult. You don't know how to do it. Everything feels wrong. It's uncomfortable. Oh, no, I'll just use my right hand. Familiar, easy, memorized, known. I know how to do this. It's just unfamiliar. So, of course, if you've been in whatever low frequency state you've been in for the last 20, 30, whatever years, or even just the last month, that's long enough to program your body, it's going to feel weird and wrong, frankly wrong, to say, I'm going to feel something else now. It's going to feel wooden and difficult and awkward and all those things, like if you want to do something with your left hand that you've done with your right forever. So how do you do that? And I was thinking, how do you do that? Well, you have to realise that it's going to feel wrong and strange and weird and uncomfortable and impossible. And you have to do it somehow anyway. And what happens when you start saying, okay, I feel like shit, I'm really good at feeling like shit, I'm used to manifesting crap, I know how to do that. Believe me, we all do. We're really good at it. You may not think I'm really good at manifesting my life, but you are, we all are, every moment we're doing it. But if you think, I'm really bad at manifesting good stuff, or, I just don't know how to feel worthy, okay, start asking a question that begins with, how would it feel? What would it be like? Who would I be? Pick one of those and put the thing you want on the end of it. How would it feel if I felt worthy? And as soon as you ask that question, this is neuroscience now, I am quoting my inspiration, Joe Dispenza. As soon as you ask an open-ended question like that, your fantastic frontal lobe, 40% of your brain, the thing that does set humans apart from every other life form on this planet, it's not about sentience, it's not about using hands, there's many sentient life forms in all different ways. But the frontal lobe, 40% of the brain, is bigger than any other living creature, right? Dolphins and chimpanzees, I think they're sort of, I can't remember the numbers, but not 40%. Your fantastic frontal lobe, as soon as you start to say, how does it feel? How would it feel to feel worthy? And let's just stick with that one, because if you can get worthiness, you can get anything. How does it feel? And as I say this, your brain is already going, little things sort of flit through your mind, and the frontal lobe goes hunting for stuff, like when you're scrabbling through a box of jigsaw pieces. Bernadette, good morning, honey. And thinking, oh, this one, and do they go together? And this is literally what the frontal lobe does. It sorts through all of the neural nets that you've got, the movies you've watched, the memories you've had, subconscious things you forgot about from 30 years ago when you felt really good about yourself for a moment because something happened, an imagination, a dream you had where you felt fantastic, sorting through things, and put some stuff together. And it doesn't matter how blurry, how indistinct, I don't get it, and it doesn't feel real, and I don't get it, it doesn't feel real to me, it doesn't feel true, it doesn't matter. Your frontal lobe will be putting pieces together, and if you start to pay attention to those little pieces that are floating around, put your attention on them. Remember, where you put your attention is where you put your, fill in the word, energy. And this is my extension to that saying, where you put your energy is going to grow. So those little jigsaw puzzle pieces that are flittering around in your mind, what happens is when you start to assemble them, and by the way, your frontal lobe does this automatically, it starts to put things together and assemble them, and the more you pay attention, it has more time to put the jigsaw puzzle together. So keep doing this, right? As we're talking, as I'm blithering and you're listening. Put those pieces together, explore them, turn them around. What does worthiness feel like? What would I be doing if I felt worthy? How would I feel? How would my body feel if I felt worthy right now? Keep asking the question. Because as you examine it and turn it over, like we turn over the rock and discover something that I'd forgotten was there. 2 bits of lovely little amethyst on the back of all this pyrite and quartz. I'd forgotten it was there. Totally forgotten it was there. And I remember now that I have seen it before and go, oh, that's really cute. It's on the back of the thing. Didn't see it before. As you turn these things over and over and you keep contemplating and you keep asking the question, what does it feel like to feel worthy? What does worthiness feel like? Who am I if I'm worthy of the life that I desire? The more you turn it over, and you see I do this in meditation, but you can just do it sitting and thinking about it. You can write, you can do a collage, the old vision board. What does worthiness mean to me? And you'll have to ignore all of the stuff about how impossible it is and how it's not you. Because the more you pay attention to it, the more it's going to grow. And also your brain, your frontal lobe is going to start putting things together. And there comes a point when you put enough attention on the thing that you're exploring and, you put pieces together. And this is what happens in the brain. There comes a point when you pay attention to it that it kind of gels in your awareness, and the frontal lobe has this ability to turn down the noise from everything else. When you're really paying attention to something, doesn't time just vanish? Aren't you just totally in that craft project or being with that person or, writing or whatever it is you're doing? You're just there. Everything else goes. The frontal lobe turns down the noise. The chatter actually goes away. And you start to think, oh, it could be like this, and oh, gee, it might feel a little bit like that. And this is you starting to fire and wire new connections, like if you're learning to play the flute, you have to learn how to hold it, you have to learn how to make the embouchure, and you have to blow, and you have to work out the fingerings, and then you also have to write a new tune, and all of that is putting things together in you, and you have to do that a lot to learn to play the flute, right? Or the guitar, or the piano, or the violin, or whatever it is that you want to play. It's going to take some practice. And you've got to write this new tune inside yourself, and it literally, piece by piece, like a jigsaw puzzle, you put it together. And you come back to it, and it's like wiggling a loose tooth. Some days it's like, oh, I can't get this. But you keep going back to it, and you keep exploring it, and little pieces of the jigsaw puzzle start to come together. And the important thing is, and I talk about this a lot, that you think about, well, who am I if I feel worthy? How do I behave? What do I say? What do I not say anymore? What thoughts am I thinking as my old unworthy self that I'm wanting to not be anymore? What do I say to myself? Just pick 2 things that you say to yourself that you think, shit, I really shouldn't say that to myself. I was talking with a colleague last week. He said, and it was doing intelligent stuff. And he said, I'm such a dumbass. I said, dude, please don't say that to yourself. Your cells are listening. He said, yes, your body's listening. He says, I'm always telling myself I'm a dumbass. He's not a dumbass, but he's programming himself to believe, and he absolutely believes that he's a dumbass. He's not, but he believes it. Anytime you say, I'm anything, your mind and your body are in agreement. Dude, darling, what are you saying? What are you thinking? Does it belong in your old self or your new self? This is you saying, who am I? How do I want to be? What's the truth of me feeling and being and behaving and breathing and living and doing worthiness? And the more you pay attention to it, the more the noise gets calmed down about all the other stuff, the more you can become this. And that really is how you practice a new emotion. And yeah, I do it in meditation. For me, it's a damn sight more effective. But just asking the question, what is it like to feel like this? Really? And give yourself permission to explore it and try it out. That is how you start to learn a new emotion. You fire it and wire it. You get more familiar with it. It becomes more and more who you are. And the better you get at it, instead of having to pick up the flute and my fingers here and my mouth here and stand on one leg and, you just pick it up and you play. It doesn't come immediately. It comes with practice. And you have to start somewhere, even if it feels like you're starting nowhere. As soon as you start, you started. And you just have to keep going. So it's like playing a new instrument. And you pick it up and you play and you start a new tune. You think, I don't like that tune, but I like this. I like these few notes, so I'll play those again and see what comes differently next time. That's just how it works. So I'd love to know what your feedback is. I haven't seen any of your comments, so I'll reply to them later. And I guess we'll carry on the conversation tomorrow. Thanks so much. Big love.